You can't do a single pull-up, but you want to be able to. Watch this for some advice.
Our first caller is Amanda from Denmark.
Amanda, thanks for calling in. It's good to have you.
Thank you. Nice to see you guys. Okay, I'm just going to read up what I've been written down.
Okay, thank you.
My name is Amanda and I'm 25 years old. First, I have to say thank you very much for all the content that you put out. I've been listening to the podcast for a very long time and I've learned so much from you. I even got my parents to start lifting weights with a personal trainer and they don't have any joint pain now. So thank you for learning me so I can learn them.
Excellent.
After listening to you guys, I started lifting weights 1.5 years ago, and I've done MAPS Anabolic twice, and now I'm in MAPS in phase 4 of MAPS Performance. My original question was that I don't really see any progress in my pull-ups. I know that you had said that the exercise that you want to be better at, you have to do more of. But my problem is that I can't even do one. Is there any exercise that I can do to strengthen the muscles that I have to use doing a pull-up? Or do you have any tips on getting better at that? And also, what would you suggest that I do after MAPS Performance? I bought MAPS Aesthetic, but I'm not sure if I should do MAPS Anabolic again, and then Performance, and then Aesthetic. I also have to mention that I have never been lifting very heavy before, so I'm still learning to go into my workouts with the mindset of lifting and not getting a sweat on, because I've always been running a lot and doing a lot of like repetitions, hit cardio, you know.
No, really good question. Okay,
Great question.
So to follow up with MAPS Performance, you can do MAPS Anabolic again, or you can get into MAPS Aesthetic. Just keep in mind that MAPS Aesthetic is very high volume. So if you start to feel burnt out or a little stiff or too sore, then I would back off on the volume and cut the sets down. But let's talk about pull-ups for a second. Do you have access to like a pull-up bar that you could have at home, something you can put in your doorway that you can?
No,
okay,
I don't have one, but I was thinking about buying one.
Yeah, so you can get one. They're really inexpensive. They go in the doorway, and they have ones that kind of go like they anchor on the other side of the door, so they're very stable. And then what you do is you attach a resistance band to it, a long resistance band that you can step into.
Put your knee in.
Helps lift your body weight. So you can either step into it or put your knee into it, depending on how long the resistance band is. And you want to get one that's strong enough that'll actually lift you so that you can do a rep or two. And then my suggestion is to practice doing a rep or two frequently, like literally like 2 or 3 times a day. So you walk by the pull-up bar, you put your knee or your foot into the resistance band, pull yourself up once, come back down, and then go about your day and then try doing that again. The key is to keep the intensity low. So you're not going to make it a hard pull-up. You should get a band that lifts you enough to where it's, you know, where you lift yourself and there's some effort, but it's not super hard. And just practice 1 or 2 at a time throughout the day. Now to offset that kind of volume, I would reduce the back volume in MAPS Performance or MAPS Aesthetic or MAPS Anabolic, just to make up the difference. But if you practice a moderate intensity pull-up several times a day on most days, you should rapidly see your strength improve and your ability to do a pull-up improve.
Justin, are the bands that we have in the gym, are they PRX or are those Kettlebell Kings? Whose bands are those thick ones?
Kettlebell Kings and because we have Rubber Bandits that we have as like a bundled package.
Yeah, but not that.
Sell,
that's not good for
this
her.
Is the Kettlebell Kings is
yeah, because you want. So I think we should clarify the bands, because you're gonna when you need a band to assist for like pull-ups. Typically, the little bands that like what we sell actually are not enough, in my opinion. Like you want something, because you want something that you can assist you enough to where you could get like 10 pull-ups. And that's how I would get at least 2 or 3 bands, and they'll tell you the strength on there as far as like the support, the thicker ones. And then start off with the one that really assists you and helps you get like 10, and then you have the other one that just assists you a little bit less, and then you can get maybe 5 or 8 with that one, and then you have one that barely assists you that maybe you can only get 1 or 2, and work through the bands like that and get good at all levels, and then eventually be able to do it with no bands, and then still sticking to the advice that Sal is saying, where every day kind of try to hop up there and grab 1 or 2.
Now, if you want to make it more simple, if you have trouble finding the right bands and you want to make it really easy, you can get the pull-up bar, and you could get a chair so you could stand up to the pull-up bar so that it's up to your chin, right? So it's almost like you finished a pull-up, and then hold on and then take your feet off the chair and support yourself for 5 seconds. and then come down and practice that every day. And then to progress from there, you would hold on to the bar and then lower yourself with control and then practice that every day. And then eventually get to the point where you could lift yourself with the bar. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Perfect. But yeah, after you're done with performance, I think aesthetic is perfectly fine. But if you feel like you need to drop the volume, I would go for MAPS Anabolic again and then back to MAPS Aesthetic.
And one of the ways you could do that without actually even changing the program is switch out the focus sessions for the mobility days that are in performance. Since you have all those programs and performance, I don't know how much you're enjoying the mobility days. Those are more recuperative type of workouts. So if you feel like aesthetic is a little taxing, sometimes what I'll do for somebody is just, hey, let's get rid of the other 2 days of training and actually turn them into mobility days. That tends to do the job for most people for MAPS Aesthetic. So keep that in mind too.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think that was it.
All right. Hey, Amanda, we really appreciate you listening to the show, and thanks for calling in all the way from Denmark. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Have a
Bye-bye.
good one.
So just, and I hope she watches this just to get more detailed. So before I use bands with pull-ups for clients, I would actually use isometrics.
Great advice. I don't think we've given that advice on here before.
And I forgot. I did this early days, and I had a client who she would practice holding herself at the top, and then another time of the day I'd have her practice holding herself midway, and then another way where she was kind of all the way down.
Yep.
And so she would just practice this all day. And isometrics are pretty cool because you get strength gains really fast, and the strength gains carry over to a little bit beyond
It's like
the position.
6 to, I don't remember if it's 6 to 15 degrees.
Yeah.
I think you said 15.
Yeah, I think it's 15.
Yeah. So if you did like top, middle, bottom, and you practice that every day, and you can hold it for 3 seconds or so, you're going to gain strength in that full range, and then eventually get to the point where you can do.
Well, wouldn't you also? So if you're prescribing that, like I would tell a client to try and increase the time you hold, right? That would be the goal. Like start off, and even if you can only hold for like 3 or 5
1 second,
seconds,
2 seconds.
a couple seconds, and then get to where you can hold for 5 seconds, and then try and get to where you can hold 10 seconds. If you can get to a place where you can hold those isometric positions for longer and longer, it'll eventually get to a point. So I think it was great advice. I don't think we've actually utilized that actually.
Yeah, especially at the top. I mean, that's really the last hurdle for the most part for people to be able to complete and get that last bit of pull over, would get their chin over the bar. So it's perfect for that.
I can't help but think of, we just had a great interview with a friend of ours that will air soon, Corey Schlesinger, and the assisted bands has got to be one of the best.
I mean, it's ideal, but I'd say I don't know how hard the pull-up is for her.
Right.
For some people, you might need a really strong band. That's hard to maneuver for some people.
That's why I made that point.
Well, yeah, no, that's a good point. I believe it's Living Fit. It's not Kettlebell King, so it's like a side adjacent business to that. But yeah, they make really quality bands. You want those thick bands.
Thick, yeah. So she's watching this video. It's not the little skinny bands or the tubes that people do like arm curls and like upper body exercises. You want the thick bands that normally you see people attached to like free weights.
Yeah.
That you need something with more support.